Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Well, hello.
Bonjour.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Who am I
hello.
here with today, and what is exactly that you do?
I am Daniel Harrison. I run Harrison X Ventures. I'm essentially a embedded operator for a number of CEOs and for founders and investors to essentially take on a commercial objective and then both strategy and the execution to deliver against it.
Okay, so what is more important, strategizing beforehand or actually focusing on the execution?
So we're definitely in a place where it is more valuable than ever to do both and to do them in tandem. It used to be someone draws up plans,
Right.
hands it to the minions, and that still happens very much today. The hope was that the minions would pass back the necessary information, quote, feedback, that would inform others in the business on planning what products to build, what folks to hire, the ways of work. That has become a gap that in today's world is unacceptable and for which informed decisions are virtually impossible to arrive at. So by bringing them together, you actually own the full accountability circle,
Yeah.
and you can inform what it is that you're doing next based on what you've just done.
Huh. Wow. How did you figure out that that strategy was better than the whole blueprint and then get the minions? How did you figure out that doing them in tandem was actually a more successful strategy?
And there's a long answer, but I'll work for the short one here, which is that I actually began in a technical world in engineering, so I'm wired two ways. One is to see systems and to understand how things actually work, purely curiosity driven. On the other side, I've always felt that unless you're driving towards a commercial outcome, why should I or anyone else really care? So with that duality, I went into sales. And in sales, you very quickly see what you've done, what the outcome is. And you can learn very quickly and then incorporate that to what you do to be successful. So I failed a lot early on, but eventually got to a place where it was well honed. And then I sought to see how I can bring that with a range of other things through the years to solve for much bigger needs. The one comment on that is, you typically don't see that at scaled businesses. Right? How do you take this strategy and execution and suddenly you have 5,000 people in your org? So I work with those executives on how to bring that thinking into the areas of the business that need it most. And it's usually the more innovative, newer lines of business, newer solves that are critical. And usually underappreciated what's required, ingredients.
And when we were talking earlier, you mentioned that you do some mentorship for other people. And how important is mentorship to you? Who were some of your mentors, and who are you a mentor for?
Right. So I'll put it in a few very tangible ways. One is looking at an org chart and at a job description gives you virtually no idea for what is going on inside a company, what the role is that you'll actually have, and what you'll be expected to deliver against. And so, mentorship is a fancy way of saying, how can I help somebody to start to think a bit above and beyond what it is that specific role is that they have or they're pursuing, or the career that they think they want, and to start to really, in a more real, practical way, understand what that would look like. And then for those that are in it, especially, right, so there's the early career, which I could provide in a moment if interested, and then there's folks further on in their career. For those, it's a sense of how do you best understand the matrix that you're in? Because we're all in one.
Yeah.
Do you feel that sometimes?
I agree. 100%.
Can I ask you, what is when you think of you being in a matrix, how would you define it? What's your world?
Man, I mean, the first thing I think of is kind of like Sonder, like the idea of how we all are thinking completely different things. We're all living our own lives, and we all have like some ultimate goal that, like deep down we want. But I think like when I think of the Matrix, I just think of how a lot of us, I mean, I think every person in some shape or form is chasing something that either they feel like they can't get or they tell themselves that they can't get, you know? So, and, a lot of people live their whole lives without actually ending up at that point. So I think that, that's like kind of my version of the Matrix.
Sure.
I feel like a lot of, sometimes, I wonder like, oh, what am I going to do? Like I'm stuck. I'm 18 now, but I'm like, what am I going to do when I'm 19, 20, Yeah.
What I very much appreciate about that point is also dovetails with what you're doing here with this explain it to a teenager, right? Is that you have some understanding of what that may all look like for you. The reality is, though, a lot of it's unplayed out yet.
Yep.
So simply engaging this moment, being conscious, being present, and doing things, the act of doing, is one of the greatest cleansing agents. It reveals more truth than any, quote, strategic plan that you might pre-plan before you push to others to execute.
Yeah, and I'm sure that a lot of the people that you mentor or that you talk to are very stressed about their futures and are wondering what their futures are going to look like. So do you use that same strategize and execute like in tandem? Do you use that same strategy, or is it kind of different where you use the strategize first and then you execute on actually?
So the strategy I will use is so personalized to the person, their life context, where they are now, where they're looking to go. One finds pretty quickly that we all, I've had as well, have our belief systems. We have an identity, however forged at whatever stage, some more malleable than others. The DNA that we have, it's something that it's so important to be able to meet people where they are, and that is the best form of mentorship. So as I look outward and would, quote, recommend anyone looking for good mentors, it's those that they will meet you enough where you are, understand enough about your context, and can really be the appropriate level sounding board, not simply just an empty vessel where they're amazing at listening and asking questions, which is important. There's a familiarity of seeing some of the games played before, seeing the movie before, never the same, but echoes of the past. That affords you another level of trusted insight to work through.
Wow. Well, that's great input. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and it was great speaking to you.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
These are fun moments. I have kids myself. They're teenagers.
How many?
Two. They're twins.
Oh, really?
They're fraternal.
Okay.
So I like to say they're different in every way. Mostly good ways, but they both know how to push my buttons. Pretty much the same.
As we all do. All teenagers do. I've pressed my parents' buttons plenty. In my time.
Well, it's a beautiful thing to have that, to have that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. To have people engaged in your life that are willing to work through friction and conflict, and that's it. And perhaps we'll wrap in a moment. There is one thing to circle back on.
Yeah.
I mentioned something about the job description and the role. The best way to truly understand where you can take whatever it is you have inside and whatever is in the world and start to find that connecting point with the two. A, what you're doing is the engaging it. B, is being around those folks who are truly man, woman, person on the street dealing with tough stuff.
You can't tell most of the time.
Can't tell most of the time. And when I think of it in the business context, I'm thinking someone who's working on a deal that you would otherwise never know. Why did it live? Why did it die? Right? Why did things go a certain direction and an outcome unexpected to the untrained eye. Simply being around very tough, sticky work-life situations gives you an exposure that I always felt grateful to have, going back to my mentors, which were both of my parents and others in my world. Just having that exposure. Life is in the messy middle.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, life's a big gray area, but yeah, well, that's great to hear. And I just want really quickly, you said both of your parents were your mentors. How did both of them play a part in kind of the shaping of your future? What different parts did they play? Because I know personally, my parents kind of both tell me different things that kind of they overlap in a lot of ways, but I feel like I get very different sorts of advice from the both of them.
So I love that. It's so human, man. It's so appreciated, right? So I feel in my world, and perhaps you'll relate, gosh, I feel for life, our lives, as long as we're lucky to be alive, we will be reconciling forever the different messages that we received from both of our, if we're lucky, or from any of our parents or elders. And not only reconciling that, but just trying to work through what it all really meant anyway. In a more practical sense, both of my folks came from nothing, and they married for a sort of survival. They felt that at a minimum, knowledge was power. They were right. They schooled up.
Absolutely.
They got degrees at the time. It was a big deal. And then they went out there and, with nothing to lose, went and did stuff. And I could say I'm very grateful to have been around those messy moments, and they shared them with me mostly.
Yeah. So you witnessed them.
Yeah, so they were early entrepreneurs. They were some of the first high-tech VCs. They started companies. They had many failures, and they had some that literally went towards the moon. So I'm grateful to have been able to sit around those dinner tables and hear that stuff play out. And I take much of it with me, internalized Plus, they always genuinely cared. They cared about me. They cared about our family. They also cared about their clients, their business relationships. And I always felt if you can go to sleep at night, the same person you wake up and the same person you are during the day, there's an integrated whole that makes for a more meaningful existence through all the shit that happens. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think when I say something like that?
I'm
curious.
I think it's awesome because I think that like these stories, I think that hopefully they'll live on like through your kids as well. And like I know I hear a lot of stories like about my grandparents that I want to tell to my kids, and I think that's super important. And I just want to thank you for the stories and about your past, about your family's past, and about your great advice and
thank you.
Your mentorship.
Wonderful to have an opportunity to chat candidly.
Yes.
Right? Candidly in Cannes.
Likewise.
The real stuff.
Oh yeah.
Not the stuff that's candidly in Cannes. Not the real stuff. Not the stuff that quote gets spoken all up and down the croisette, which is wonderful and makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
These are the quieter moments, although it will be, it'll go somewhere. Hopefully it's meaningful to whomever has an opportunity to see this and to make moves, make real moves.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, oh hello and oh thank you.
And oh goodbye.
Oh goodbye.
All right. Thanks again.
Yeah. Pleasure.